In this, the 30th of this series of spiritual aloneness for vowed religious, or for those with promises of celibacy, or those considering those lives. We have something from an Orthodox theologian from the middle of the 20th century, Paul Evdokimov, a powerful expression of what this Word of God does for us. But before we enter that, let's take a moment just to sit quietly in the presence and the love of God. Evdokimov writes, by their active presence, Christians introduce into society and all human relationships the truth of the dogmas they live, thus dislodging the evil and profane elements of the world. Here is a magnificent definition. By one's whole being, by one's whole existence, to become a living theology, theophanic, the luminous place of the parousia, God's coming again. In this really dense and powerful passage, I think of us being alone and with these promises of placing God in the center of our existence, that there the Word of God, the risen Word of God, Christ, enters us in our time of alone, in our prayer, in our openness to God. And there God speaks to God. That Word within us speaks to the Father speaks to the Word, the Spirit binds us so deeply into the Trinity. So there is this theophany within us of God speaking to God. There is this theophany of God's love passing between God and God within us, the Trinity alive within us. And therefore, because that is who we are and become ever more fully who we are, the parousia takes place within us. And wherever we go, this theophany, it doesn't end. Wherever we go, God is reaching out to the world around us. It is, as he says, God's coming again. And then something else happens, that through our time of being alone and of prayer and of knowing God, something else happens, because when we enter the world again outside of our prayer, well, what takes place? We live this relationship now with other people. And so, as he says, we dislodge the evil and profane elements of the world. Why? Because Christ comes to the world through us. And even though that seems such a proud thought, it really is inevitable if we encounter God in our prayer and Christ takes his place in our hearts. It's inevitable that the world will be somehow encountering God through us. And in that encounter, as with Jesus, evil is dislodged. What's profane is now transformed into what's sacred. And it happens because we become ever more aware of how God has taken the very existence that we are and transformed it into his dwelling place, the dwelling place of God. What a wonderful gift God gives us in this resurrection, that we become the very place of God's existence in this world.